In this lecture, let us try to create a family tree like this, that is, with elbow connections. In the previous lecture, we have already created a family tree, but the shape was like this, that is, the connecting shape was a Bezier cubic curve. But in this lecture, we are going to create a family tree with elbow connections. If you have already seen classic family trees, you might have seen shapes like this. That is, the names will be written within rectangle shapes and connections will be like this, not like this, right? So let us try to create a family tree with elbow connections in this lecture, and we are going to use the same data as in the previous lecture, that is John having two child names Kevin and Anne, John, Kevin and Anne. Then Kevin is having two children, Aaron and Sarah. Here also Aaron and Sarah. Then Sarah is having two children, Rose and Angel, Rose, Angel. Then from Anne, Hannah and Mark, Hannah, Mark. Then Hannah, Tom. Here also it is like that. So we are going to use the same data, and only change is that instead of circles, we will be using rectangles. Then instead of displaying the names beside the circles, we will be displaying the names within the rectangles, and also the shape will be like an elbow. So let's try to do that. For that, I have already saved the same code, that is the same code of family tree which we have developed in the previous lecture. So this is the code. So we don't have to make any changes here. That is, the data is like this, and then we have used stratify function to convert it into hierarchical format. Then we have defined the tree structure or tree layout, and then we pass the information to tree layout, and we can get the information required from descendants and also from links. So up to this, it is the same. Now what we need to do, instead of circles, we need to display rectangles, right? So let me try to change here itself. Let me make this rectangles. svg.append g, select all rect. That is a name, that is to append rectangles, we have to specify rect. Then the data should be the same. Then here, instead of circles, it should be rectangles. Dot enter dot append. And for appending, we need to specify rect. Then instead of cx, cy and r, the values we have to specify are x and y, which are left and top values, and also width and height. So here let me try to specify x and y like the same values, that is dx and dy itself. And instead of radius, we need to have width and height. Let me specify it in the style section. Okay. So here, instead of circle, let me specify rect, and fill to be none because I don't want to have any color. Then stroke to be silver. Okay. And then width to be say 80 px and height to be 40 px. Okay. So what I have done here, I have already removed the circles and added rectangles inside. Now let me show you where these rectangles will get displayed. Okay. So this is where the rectangles is being displayed. Where this is the point dx and dy, and from there it is starting the rectangle. Why? Because here we have specified the x and y to be d dot x and d dot y. So if I want to move this towards the left and also to the top, what change I can make? As of now, this is x and y. This is the width is set as 80. So if I subtract 40 from x and the total height is 40, so half of that will be 20. So if I subtract 40 from x and 20 from height, then it will be centered, right? Hope you understand the logic. This is x and y point. So it is a starting point now. I want to make this as the center of the rectangle. Okay, so it should move towards the left hand side and also to the top. So towards the left hand side, how much it should move? The total width is 80 px. So if this rectangle is moved 40 px towards the left side, its position will be centered. And if I move 20 px towards the top, then this point will be the center of the rectangle, right? So for that, what I can do, for the x, let me subtract 40, and for the y, let me subtract 20. And now let's see. Let me save this and show you. See, now the rectangle's center is this point. We haven't made changes to the text or to the path. That is why it is displaying as it is. But this section is now done. That is, the rectangle is now being displayed correctly. Right? I think we can increase the stroke width. Now it is very thin lines. So if I specify stroke width, it will be thicker lines. So stroke width, let me increase it to 2. Now let me save and show you. See, now the rectangle is more thicker. That is, the stroke is now more thicker. Now if you see, the rectangles are now being displayed too closer, right? As there are two child elements, the rectangles are being displayed too closer. So what we can do, let me increase the SVG's width to say 900 and increase this to say 650. Okay, and now let's check, save. See, now there is enough gap between the rectangles. Next, we need to align the text properly, right? Now it is being displayed towards the right of the rectangle. So what we should do, we should display it at the center of this rectangle, right? So where it is being displayed now, we have the names by appending text elements, and we have already added +7 and +4 here. Now if I just remove +7 and +4, where it will be displayed, let me save this. See, so now it starts from the center, right? That is the center of the rectangle where the D.x and D.y lies, but it is not still vertically or horizontally centered. So we can use some styling properties to center this horizontally and vertically. So how we can do that is, in the style section, let me write text. We need to style the text, and I can set dominant baseline and its value to be middle, and text anchor also as middle. And let me show you the difference. Now it is starting from center. All these text values are starting from the center. That is center of the rectangle. Now let me save this and show you the change. See, now they are perfectly centered horizontally as well as vertically. So by just specifying the values for dominant baseline to be middle and text anchor to be middle, we can center the text horizontally and vertically like this.